Hello everyone, this is our new video of PCNSA series. In this video, we are going to discuss create and maintain services. Service objects you can see in the Palo Alto Firewall. So services, when you define security policies for a specific application, you can select one of more services to limit the port numbers that application can use. The default services is any which allows all TCP UDP ports. So it means that when you are creating a security policy, so you need a port numbers to allow that particular services. So creating a services on the policy, we require the service objects. So let's quickly go to our Palo Alto VM. So in this video, we will create how we can create the service objects, how we can create the service groups, how we can apply that service objects to the policies. So we will see all those things on the live sessions on this Palo Alto VM. So basically when you buy a new Palo Alto firewall, you will only have a two services, HTTP and HTTPS in the by default. So let's try to create some random service first. Then we will try to create a service groups, and then after we will try to apply these things on the policies. So let's create the name could be anything. In this section you have to type the name, so name could be anything. So let's say we have taken MySQL. So why I am taking this application port, because to identify that which ports belong to the which application. So let's say I have typed this 8005. Here we have to define the destination port of the application, and always the port will be the random ranges. So we don't need to define the source port, and this is the protocol whether you are using TCP or UDP. So in this case, I will define 8005. So it means that MySQL the application name work on the TCP and the port number is 8005 and click OK to save. So in this way, we will create the service objects. So let's create for the demo purpose, we will create the one more. So in this type MySQL MySQL 8007, the process will be the same to create any service objects. And let's try the UDP, the same process for the UDP also. Let's say the ports voice 10,000, UDP 10,000. So this is the destination port that we have to define, and that should always be any. And here I need to define this way. So in this way, I have created the service objects for UDP, and let's try for the voice 20,000. I would say. So these are RTP ports which working on this port numbers for the UDP voice applications. So let's try to, the destination port will be the 20,000. So this is the very simple to create these service objects. So what I will do, I will create a service groups also. I will create a two service group. First is for MySQL, where I will call out that MySQL ports, and second will be the voice. So in this group, I will create a MySQL, where I will type ports, and I will try to add. Here I will add this MySQL ports, that is 005 we just created. Okay, so tag we don't require, and we'll save it. So in this way, let's say we have a multiple ports and we want to separate those ports on the one object. So for that reason, we have to create these ports or like service groups. So I will create another service group, and this way I will type voice ports, let's say, for the time being. So here I will take my RTP ports. It has been the 1000 only. Let's correct it. So in this way, in the voice port I have added. In the voice port I have added two service objects. In the MySQL port I have added two service objects. So this way we can separate it by this group of the objects of service. So let's quickly correct to the 1000. Okay. Okay, the voice 1000 is the name. Let's quickly correct it. The port was clear. So now we created four services and two service groups. Now the another task would be where we need to use these all. So we have to use this service and service objects on the policy. Let's say uh, any voice traffic. Now I have requirement to open the voice traffic. So now I will create a one policy based on our voice ports. So instead of taking individual of the voice port, I will take a group. So here I will say allow voice ports. So that will be the rule name. And here I will say trust source address. In my case, I have taken any. So destination zone will be the untrust. And in the destination address, let's say for the time being any, but now we have to go for the applications. Let's say for the application is any. And so this way, let's say we are defining this policy where we are defining everything. Let's say source port, let's say destination port, destination address, everything we are defining. So when you create this, when you want to create these policies, so you need to this kind of service objects you need where you can call this service object to create a policy. Let's say you are in this service object, service and air, you are in services. So you can add this. Okay. So in my case, what we have here, let's say we are opening voice. So I will take the voice port. So now we define the name, we define the zone source to the destination, we define the application. At the time being, we are not creating based on the rules on the application basis. We'll create in the future video, we will create the application based also. For the time being, let's focus to any. And now we have just assigned the voice ports that we created a few seconds back. So now this policy is ready. So here we have created one policy from trust to untrust. And here we have defined that voice ports that we have taken on this service object, service groups that we created. Now another requirement is we have to open the MySQL port. So now the rule will be allow MySQL ports. Source will be here. We have to take the trust and the destination will be taken as untrust. And now the same concept we have to add the MySQL. So we have a MySQL ports and the rest thing will be same and allowed. In this way, we don't need to define the port numbers again and again. We just create a one objects and we are using that objects on the policies to reuse the multiple times. So first way is I have assigned the service groups. Another way I have requirement to allow a specific port instead of the group. So we can do that also. So allow my SQL ports 1. So here the everything will be same. So here I will call out the port numbers individually instead of the groups that we created. So using that way, we will define the individual port numbers. So in this way, I will call this SAP, let's say SAP 9004 and OK. So now this is the way to use that services that and service groups on the policies. So let's, for the test purpose, we can create the last one. So allow others. Let's say allow any port. I was taking the name based on the scenarios. So let's say here I will take the services. In this case, I will take the MySQL 8007. And now, so we have created the service objects. Using the service objects, we created the service groups. Using the service groups and objects, we created the policy. So here in the policy, we used out that service group and service objects. So after the changes, we just perform the commit which is running. So let's back to my slide and let's see. So as I show you, so when you define the security policies for specific application, you can select one or more services to the limited port numbers. TCP, HTTP and HTTP services are predefined, but additionally we can create more. And let's go for the service groups. To simplify the creation of policies, you can categorize the services that have the same security setting into service groups. Let's say the main advantage is also here. Let's say if any future, if any ports, newly ports has been launched this MySQL, so we don't need to touch this rule. Nothing. We just go to that service group and the MySQL port number, MySQL group, and we just need to add that new object. So by this way, the newly launched the port numbers which is used by the application, it will be allowed. So this was video related to the services and service group. Thank you so much for watching the Firewall Expert. Please subscribe my YouTube channel and share this video with your friends so that they can gain more knowledge on the firewalls and network security. Thank you.